A cakewalk on the streets of our city today compared to some of the snowed-in and impassable highways in parts north, east, and west. And how's this for the nastiness of last night? With winds gusting up to 100 clicks an hour, it's easy to understand why police told people to stay off the roads. This great video from Mississauga's David Bibick after he and his buddy got their car stuck in a snowbank near Collingwood. Good evening. Blowing, blinding snow turned winter driving treacherous again today in many areas outside of the GTA. It followed a frightening Friday night for hundreds of drivers in Dufferin County. Tracy Tong with the mess and the stress of getting stranded in snowdrifts.
It just was insane. You couldn't even see the light from your headlights. It was pure white snow. It was almost like flour in the sky.
Driving conditions were so bad in Dufferin County last night, about 400 people were stranded and forced to abandon their vehicles.
There were cars all over the place, and we couldn't see anything in front of us.
Many were eventually rescued and brought to makeshift shelters for the night.
It was around 7 o'clock, and we didn't get here till, I think, 2 in the morning. So the police came, and then they couldn't get to us, so we had to walk to the police car.
The next day, many roads and highways remained closed. Even our city news truck wasn't allowed into the snowed-in areas. Police say cleanup is proving to be a difficult task.
You know, there's cars all over the road. So in the middle of the road, cars abandoned, cars in the ditch.
How many cars went into the ditch?
We're not sure. I'm venture to say probably it's 30 or 40, but we have several on every road. And people were starting to take side roads and take their chances, and it was even worse.
There aren't many detours that drivers can take when the main highways are closed in this area because take a look at this sign. Many of the side streets in the area aren't even plowed during the winter, and, well, you can see just how much snow there is.
This is the worst I've seen it. Yeah, I've been plowing here for 6 years now.
Jeff Coyle had only begun to clear this Melanchthon street, but his plow couldn't handle the load.
We get stuck just like anybody else. The snow's just so hard that we can't push through it.
One by one, these road closed signs were taken away, paving the way for these stranded drivers to finally go home.
How excited are you to be reunited with your car?
Very excited. Yeah. I want to go home.
First thing you're going to do when you go home?
Shower and bed.
Dufferin County officials expect the wind and blowing snow to keep up for much of the day and possibly even into the overnight. They say some roads, including Highway 124, could remain closed until the conditions ease up. You can check our website, citynews.ca, for the updates. In Shelburne, I'm Tracy Tong, City News.
Well, you know it's bad on the roads when even the police are keeping their cruisers in their parking lots. The message is simple: don't drive. More whiteouts and wipeouts all over the place, including the eastbound 401 in Cobourg. 2 fire trucks, an ambulance, big rigs and cars, at least 30 vehicles in a pileup there. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries. The 401 is shut down both ways in the Belleville area. It's also too dangerous to be driving in Barrie and London. Yesterday, a series of collisions and jackknife tractor trailers forced the shutdown of the eastbound 401 for hours from basically Port Hope through Brighton. Well, here in the city, the bone-chilling cold is back. The city is under another extreme cold weather alert. Let's go live now to Shauna Hunt with the concerns about those facing the potentially deadly conditions on the street. Shauna.
Well, Tammy, the emergency warming center here at Metro Hall, it reopened its doors about 3 hours ago because, as you said, the city, it has issued another extreme cold weather alert. But last night, this warming center, it was shut down despite some harsh winter conditions, and some are now calling for changes to the city's cold weather protocol.
I was out last night until about 11 o'clock, but it was too cold.
It's too cold, so you found a friend.
Yeah.
For Carl, the conditions last night were unbearable, blowing snow and frigid winds. And the warming center he would have normally gone to was closed because the temperature didn't reach the city's cold weather alert criteria.
We shouldn't have to advocate over a magic number of a temperature every time that there's a storm.
That magic number is an overnight low of -15 before the wind chill. Last night we dipped down to about -9, but it felt more like -20. When the cold weather alert was canceled on Friday, I'm being told that up to 40 people were kicked out of the emergency warming center here at Metro Hall and sent back out onto the streets. And last night the winter winds were gusting up to 100 kilometers an hour.
Someone could have froze. If it wasn't for these hot air grates, a lot of people would be in trouble.
Kristen Wong-Tam made a special request to keep the warming center open last night, but was unsuccessful. She says changes need to be made to the way the city issues cold weather alerts.
Right now, the protocol as exists is somewhat bureaucratic and it's very technical. And we know that there's a very good chance that when we had the extreme wind alert, they did not factor in what that impact would be.
This winter is one of the coldest we've seen in years. Today, outreach workers hit the downtown core to hand out survival kits.
Last week, I met a man who's 67 years old, and he told me that this is the worst winter that he's ever seen, and he's been on the streets for 30 years. So that really put it in perspective for me.
And those bags you just saw being handed out to the homeless, well, they were stuffed with about 30 items: mitts, hats, food, sleeping bags. And today, hundreds of volunteers with Project Winter Survival, they actually handed out about 3,000 kits to shelters across the GTA. Live outside Metro Hall, I'm Shauna Hunt. Tammy, I'll throw it back to you.
All right. Thanks very much, Shauna.